My friend refused to attend my wedding because she thinks it's a scam. I, female 37, with my best friend Darla, female 38, have been best friends since we were roughly 5 years old. Wow. For some background, we grew up about 1 block away from each other, and we were thick as thieves immediately. By the way, this comes from Moist Panda 4109, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We both had younger brothers who got along well, and that made spending more time together really convenient for our parents and allowed us to be extremely close. Towards the end of elementary school, her family moved to another neighborhood in a really large and fancy, at least to me at the time, house. We remained friends and spent a lot of time together. A couple of years later, my family also moved to a different house in a neighborhood closer to her, and while we did not go to middle school together, we did attend the same high school for freshman year before I was rezoned to a different high school. Throughout high school, we did our own thing, but still remained close friends and spent a lot of time together once we were able to drive and eventually got our own cars. We had little to no issues and no arguments that I can ever recall. College was also smooth sailing in the friendship department, and we got together whenever it was possible, but not as often as we would have liked since we were poor college students and our schools were far apart. Now, after she completed college, she moved out of state with her boyfriend, now husband. I continued in college for several more years after her. Finances prevented me from taking a full course load, and then I went to graduate school. Despite the many times throughout our lives where we have not seen each other for extended periods of time, we still talked and considered each other besties. I can genuinely say, and often do, that she is one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. She's kind, patient, considerate, nurturing, funny, smart, and just an absolute angel of a person. Throughout our adult lives, anytime either of us have been struggling with something, we reached out to one another for support and comfort and always received it. From my perspective, it has always been pretty equal in terms of providing support to one another in difficult times. We always have one of those friendships where we may not have spoken for 6 months or more, but as soon as we pick up the phone, it's like no time has passed at all. With her living out of state, we do not get to see each other often, and usually it's around a holiday when she is already coming back to see her family. I have gone to her state to visit her once for many years. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and traveling out of state was financially unaffordable, and I was also working hourly jobs where I simply cannot afford to be off work for more than a weekend, as I did not have any pay time off. Yay, America. When she got married around 10 years ago in the state where she currently lives, I was ecstatic for her, but knew that there was absolutely no way I could possibly attend due to the aforementioned financial and job restraints. I was also in college at the time, which increased the limit on my ability to be away for several more days. She was, of course, disappointed that I could not attend, but completely understood that if I had the ability, I would have been there by her side. That being said, I do not believe that this plays a role in our current situation, but wanted to include it for context as well. We have a lot of context. Now, currently, we are both doing pretty solid in our lives. She and her husband bought a house a little over a year ago, and I am thriving in a high-paying career with a lot of flexibility and excellent conditions. We still connect over the phone to catch up and, of course, for support when it's needed. A few months ago, I got engaged, and she was happy, super happy for me, and very congratulatory. When I told her about it, my fiance and I had already begun making plans, and we were pretty set on what we wanted to do. I told her all about it, and she was very encouraging and positive. No hint of any issue. We plan to have a destination wedding in Mexico, as my fiance is from a European country, so his entire family and closest friends all still reside there. My entire family and closest friends are in the US, so we both figured out that if we have to travel, then we might as well have them all travel to an all-inclusive resort in paradise, where there are fun activities to keep people occupied, loads of food and free-flowing drinks. We chose a very well-known European resort chain, which we have visited before and absolutely loved. This resort is also extremely budget-friendly with different pricing options because we wanted to ensure that it was reasonable for all of our guests. Once I had told my closest friends and family personally, we announced it online, and I sent out our bridesmaid proposal boxes to Darla, I believe the OG friend, and my 2 other close friends. Darla's box specifically asked her to be my maid of honor. Around the same time, we sent out the invites. There were digital invites, so RSVPs came in pretty quickly from our closest guests. When Darla received her proposal box, she sent me a picture of her with the items in the box, and again congratulating me, saying how excited she was about my wedding. This was around a week or so after the digital invites were sent out. She had still not sent an RSVP. I'm assuming she maybe overlooked the email or is super busy with work stuff. I gave her a call a day or 2 later, and she and I talked for a long time about a crisis with work that she had been dealing with. which was very complicated. She explained all the ins and outs, and I offered helpful suggestions and sympathy as it sounded like an absolute nightmare. After this long talk, I asked her about the wedding invite, and she mentioned that she had been drowning at work and simply had not given it much attention, but would once things cleared up. She suggested I directly email it to her husband, as she typically manages their social calendar and would be the one to set up everything surrounding the trip. I sent the email invite directly to her husband a day or two after our call. Darla and I continued texting regularly about my wedding plans and ideas for bridesmaids' dresses, color schemes, and all of normal things. She's super responsive and helpful. After about 2 more weeks with no RSVP response, I messaged her asking if she had talked with her husband about my wedding, as I had not seen an RSVP from her. No response for 5 days. I sent another message nudging her with a meme and inquiring her again about whether or not she had been able to speak with her husband. I called her the next day, no answer. I called her again the day after, still no answer. Finally, she sent a long text saying that she isn't sure if she can come to the wedding because she had an issue in Mexico years ago where there were some extra fees at the airport that they were required to pay, but had not been made aware of, and now she feels like going to Mexico will result in... She insinuated that the resort was a scam, and she simply does not trust it, and likely will not be persuaded to trust that she won't be scammed. Immediately, I responded asking for more information as I was pretty surprised and confused about this coming out of the blue. She explained that having to email a hotel contact for pricing seemed shady to her. We got a hotel block from the wedding, offered a bit of a discount from wedding pricing, depending on the room you chose. She stated that she doesn't believe the hotel is legit because they should have complete transparency on the pricing. The hotel has regularly priced rooms on the website, but during the week of our wedding, there are other weddings which also have rooms blocked, and many of the rooms show as unavailable for this reason, thus not showing the pricing online for that particular week. So her second issue was that she emailed the wedding coordinator a few days prior about booking a room and had not heard back from her, which made it seem more sketchy. Explained to her that my fiance and I had been to this resort before and knew that it is in fact not a scam, and that we have been emailing with the wedding coordinator over the past 6 weeks. And sometimes she takes a while, like 6 days to respond, and sometimes she responds immediately, so it didn't seem out of character. Darla simply responded that she would just have to wait and see what the email from the wedding coordinator said and would let me know. Now, it has been an entire month since this last conversation with Darla, and I have not heard one single word from her. My fiance says to just let it go and assume she won't come. I'm torn because I would love to have her by my side, and I'm honestly still in disbelief that she's behaving so far out of character all of a sudden. I want to know what happened, but I'm apprehensive to actually reach out again. Kind of a Schrodinger's cat situation for me. What exactly should I do here? If she had told me she couldn't afford it or that there was a work conflict, I would have just let it go and moved on, but I'm in limbo here. Should I just let it go like my fiance advised, or should I keep trying to talk with her about this and actually get some sort of resolution regardless of the outcome?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because your friend has made it clear that they're not coming.